Rising. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your August forecast. And I'm doing things a little bit different. I still think I'm trying to find my actual, niche in this whole process. Because I'm not quite sure, how I want to structure these. I know that I just want to cover, the serious aspects that are going to happen this month. And then the houses and signs that each one of these are going to be in, and then what energies are going to be affecting you in how they change this month. I do daily forecasts for all of you, and in there I will list out all of the energies and what aspects are going on in that day. And so if you know, for instance, that your Sun, Venus, and Mars are all in your first house, and you know that Saturn is, opposing the Sun, then you know it's opposing your first house, and you know that you're going to have some conflicts internally with some sort of karmic issue that Saturn is going to bring forth to you. And so that's how I'm going to do this out. We're going to play with this. We're going to see if this works for all of you, because all of you keep requesting me to do sun sign horoscopes, dailies and weeklies, and I can't pull it off and work a full-time job. So this is the idea that I came up with. Who knows if it's a good one, but hopefully with Saturn, teaching me how to communicate with others, hopefully this is a good compromise in between what you guys need and want and what I can actually commit to. So let's get started in talking about some energy shifts that we're starting to have this month, and a lot of these energies are shifting for the better. July was a month that kind of just tested your boundaries, tested your strengths. It it really set up the energies for what's going to be coming in the next few months till about October. And so I don't think we truly understand what our year was about until about November, December. And then we're going to really understand what the heck went on this year, because this was a really, really, really big year for a lot of progression and a lot of ascension in very key areas. So for you, let's talk about you. Saturn, as of the 1st of August, goes direct in your 4th house. And for you, when Saturn was in Sagittarius, and then it went into Scorpio in July. When it went into Scorpio in July, a lot of us revisited some issues that happened back in 2012 to 2014. I know that I did as a fellow Leo. I'm actually a Leo on the cusp of Cancer. My predominant degrees are all in Cancer, so I consider myself a Cancer more than a Leo, but I have 5 aspects in Leo, so I act a lot like a Leo and I look like a Leo, but I feel like a Cancer. And so I got some karmic lessons in that Saturn showed me that really, really, really hit close to home. Some of these brought up issues, much like with all of you, regarding your past and regarding your roots, and maybe the way you grew up influenced a lot of the choices that you've made. Maybe you have some old karmic issues that are allowing you're recreating the wheel over and over again until you get it right, because you have to change that karmic fate, right? And I know that I have been struggling with one in particular, which is just being attracted to narcissists. And I know that I faced that in the last few months of, Saturn going into Sagittarius really opened my mind to elevated learning about taking a look at myself from an outside perspective and be able to really, really manifest the highest power of myself. So I went, that's why I've made this commitment for a year to be celibate and to be alone, to really get to know myself. When Saturn goes into Sagittarius, it just elevates your thinking on a level that you never imagined. I mean, I never imagined me being, not going on a date, not doing anything for a year with anybody, but spending time with myself and learning about myself. So that was what Sagittarius was all about. And then it went back into Scorpio and brought up some of these issues from 2012 to 2014 that maybe you still haven't talked about, haven't worked out. And I did have an issue that I had ran away from revisit me while we had this Scorpio transit. It was in July. So I'm pretty sure, I think, that I have worked through all of my karmic debt. Many of you I know have talked about, who said, wow, stuff did come back from my 2012 to 2014. And, they were difficult things to face. I mean, they were eye-opening things. Many of you didn't even have anything come back up from your past because you had worked through it. Many of you made advances and moved forward. I know that as soon as I addressed this issue, I'm telling you, within a few days, it was the strangest thing. Saturn came in, removed some of my obstacles, and I made a goal on YouTube that I was very proud of. And then YouTube recognized me in a way that I actually didn't even know it would do. And so it really, really removed an obstacle and elevated me a little bit in an area. But it tore me down before it built me up. So it needed that last little karmic debt that I had to do. It really went in there and did its business. So now we're at the point where it's going to go, where Saturn is going to go direct. So we're not talking about, going back in the past and diving deep and looking at old karmic debt. We're talking about moving forward with what we've learned. And when Saturn goes direct, it can mean that it presents obstacles if you refuse still after that time period to really learn your lesson. Or if you really learned your lesson, it's about removing obstacles and progressing forward. And for you, this is going to be in family relationships. It's going to be in childhood issues. It's going to be about moving past them. It's going to be about taking some of your closest relationships and moving them forward. It's going to be about setting up your home and your family situation into this idealistic view that you have in your head. It's a really progressive energy, and you're going to see Saturn starting to work and in either really tweak those areas or push areas forward in some very key areas, especially in your home and family. Then on the that first week in August is going to be a difficult week. You're going to have Jupiter, expansive Jupiter, wanting to go in and, give you everything you want and really just accelerate your life and take some risks. So you may have something tempting you coming into the future, but then you're going to have Saturn in there putting the brakes on. Saturn wants you to have more control. It's not about pleasing all your senses right now. It's not about moving forward in the way that you hope to, move forward. It's about moving forward with controlled and deliberate motions. And so, although there's a part of you that's going to want to go for it, there's a big part of you, a much bigger part of you, that is going to be like, okay, I have some restraint here. I'm feeling obstacles. And if you don't feel it or heed those warnings, then Saturn will go in there and create some obstacles for you. So you're going to have a tough week of some lessons learned, right? And then on the 8th, we're going to have Mars move into Leo. Now, Mars previously was in debilitated Cancer. It doesn't like being in Cancer energy. We have this warrior fire energy, right? Sitting in a kitchen cooking. And he wants to be storming the hill, and he's used to being the center of attention, and he's sitting there, and this masculine energy is doing feminine energy things, and it was a really difficult energy. I know that I found myself emotional about things probably I would never get emotional about. I know that when Mars was in Cancer, If anything's at all emotionally made me react, I know that I became angry much more easily because it was emotion based. But when Mars goes into Leo, it's not logic based, it's passion based, it's fire based. So it's about taking action and moving forward. So say if something happens, you're not gonna get all butthurt over it and act out emotionally. You're going to move forward and take care of the situation in a Mars-based way. Mars likes being in a fellow fire sign's energy. And so you're going to find that you're just feeling a little bit more like yourself. If you feel passionate about something, if you want to pursue something, if you see something you like, you're going to feel like you need to get it, like it's owed to you, you're going to feel like you want to have pleasure. If you have sexual relationships, you're wanting to take to the next level. This is the energy that's going to help you do that. You know what? Before, when you got all but hurt in July, you may have regressed in and kind of turned everybody off and pushed everybody away. But that's not the case anymore. You are willing to deal with all those things full face, full force, head on, without giving a crap about the ramifications, because that's what Mars and Leo energy is. It's all about, it's ego oriented, very, very ego oriented energy. So I'm thankful that we have Saturn in here putting the brakes on us every once in a while, keeping us level headed and keeping us down to earth, because too much pleasure seeking is just too much pleasure seeking. And then we still have Venus in retrograde, but right now Venus is in retrograde. So we have the Sun, Venus, and Mars all sitting in the first house, in your first house. So this isn't about ego. This is about yourself. This is about personal development. It's about living an authentic life. It is about your inner self. It's about the core stuff that makes you you. It's about the universe revolving around your universe, revolving around what you passionately desire deeply. And so all of these things are going to be working. So, the Sun is egos yourself. It's what everything revolves around. And then Venus is how you love. That's in your first house. So you're going to be thinking about loving, basing it on what you desire, what you hope for, what you need, not what other people need, but what you need. And then you have Venus is in Leo. So Venus is making you want to love and meet your needs. And you got to be careful with this energy, because Jupiter is going to be moving into Virgo on the 11th. When Jupiter moves into Virgo, it is a debilitated energy. And when this happens, it makes you have to look at seeking pleasure, getting what you want. Your authentic purpose needs to be around other people. It can't be just revolving around you and yourself and your core needs. You are going to find that for the next 12 months, as Jupiter is in Virgo, you are going to be having to take a look at your second house. And for you, that means how you value yourself, how others value you. You're going to have to be looking through other people's eyes, and you're going to have to see if they value you based on the way that you value yourself. You're going to be looking at modest living. This isn't about living large and living like a Leo likes to live. This is about practicality. It's about, basing your ego on basic requirements. You don't have to live beyond your means to meet your needs. That is something that's super important for you to get through your head. If you are going to live happy for the next 12 months, you had better wrap your head around a practical type of living where, I know you have this idealistic goal. You want to set this, you want to set your sights on this. You want this possession. But if you start basing all of this on just pleasure-based, ego-based energies, you know what? Jupiter will expand the faults in that type of thinking. This energy is about service to others. When this energy switches from Leo into Virgo, It is no longer about what feels good for you, but it's about how can you be of service to others and live authentically and be fulfilled and keep the balance between your world and servicing others. It's very important. When you are out there shining, you are motivating others. You are living by an example, and you are being held to that accountability through this Jupiter transit. So think of yourself as like, do unto others as you would have done to you. Always have that be the little saying that goes off in your head at all times. You know what? Do you need a friggin' Jaguar to make yourself feel good? Or can you go buy a car that fits everybody in your family in there so that you guys can take camping trips? This isn't, Jupiter's not going to expand energies that are self-oriented, but it will expand energies that service others. So if you go out there and you buy this family-based car instead of this car that you've been saving for that you want, it'll go in there and it'll create opportunities for pleasurable experiences based on your entire family. That's kind of what this energy is going to be like for you. Then on the 14th, we have a new moon in your first house. This is your new moon, and this is not an afflicted moon. I am so happy to say this, every new moon has had just such horrible aspects that is really the way that we got new beginnings was through breakdown and through opposition and through this tug of war that we were having with ourselves. But this glorious new moon is about your authentic purpose, about your hopes, your dreams, and your desires. It is shining a spotlight in the areas of what you want. You know what? Make a dream on this new moon. Now, keep in mind that Jupiter is in here making you want to consider others. Saturn is staring at you, making sure that, hey, this is about others too. It's not just all about you. So when you're making these dreams, make them extremely realistic. Make them based on the overall good for others. And then make them meet your requirements, your needs that make you feel authentic and happy. If you want to make $100,000 next year, then you need to make a goal where you service others, and through that, Jupiter will expand your opportunity to give you that goal of $100,000 a year. If you just, and this is very important because then on the 29th, we have a full moon in Pisces. And I really love this full moon because, again, this is also a well-aspected full moon. Neptune is in a harmonious conversation with this full moon. And thank goodness, because Neptune was a little pain in everybody's butt for a really long time. It was having some really hardcore conversations. It's currently in retrograde, so it's not feeling itself. But in this new moon, it is dancing up there with Pisces. It feels at home because Neptune rules Pisces. And so it's speaking extremely harmoniously with this energy. This is going to be in your 8th house. So we're talking about transformation in key areas of your life, in very, very key areas. We're talking about if you've experienced loss or disappointment, or if you've experienced failure, and it has manifested fear and apprehension. And if you are feeling like, or if you struggled in your shared resources with somebody, or you took a loss in that area, this is about shining a spotlight in those areas and looking at the way that you can transform them. And this is a powerful, powerful full moon. I believe it's a highly intuitive moon. I believe it's magic. It's magical energy. I feel it every time I talk about it, and it gets stronger and stronger every time I do. I feel that most people are going to I feel that most people are going to get caught up in the sensitivity in this moon. I think you're going to be highly sensitive and intuitive to the powers out there in the universe. I think if you meditate, if you sleep, if you find ways to be unconscious in this energy, I believe that you will get messages. I believe that even if you are living consciously, and if you're just going through your day and you're having a conscious experience, I believe that you could see signs around you everywhere pointing you in a direction. If you see a constant sign of something, or if you see a pattern of numbers, or if you see something that, just is showing you the way, honestly, it's a signal from the universe to take that direction. This is a magical and glorious month. I believe it with all my heart. I believe that this is a build-up for energy to come until about December. I think December will start to really, really figure everything out, what this year was all about. There is some crazy, crazy ascension energy coming. We have a lunar and a solar eclipse coming. Next month, we are building toward the energy of some powerful, life-changing energy. And so if you feel like things take turns that are unexpected or undesirable, understand that there is more going on than you can possibly see currently right now in your situation, and just roll with it, because I believe sincerely that we are talking about something coming that even I can't really see at this point. I just feel the energy coming. So I'm going to run over all the energies where they are at in your chart so that you know where things are. So we've got Sun, Venus, and Mars all in your first house. We've got Jupiter is in your second house. So anytime you hear any of these energies, just remember these houses they're in. You've got Saturn in your fourth house. You have this new moon is going to be in your first, and the full moon is going to be in your eighth house. So that is all the houses that are listed and all the energies that's in this month. I hope that you watch my dailies, because I go into such great detail every single day about all of the energies that at play. I list in the comments or in the description area all the energies at play and what signs they're in, so that you understand them. And now that you know your houses, you will understand how these are going to affect you based on your sun, moon, and your rising sign. Have a fabulous August, and I look forward to talking to you guys again next month.